In the tales of the Iron Lords, Lady Efrideet was one of the most prominent characters. She once threw Saladin like a javelin into a fallen walker, a city favorite retold for centuries. How she met her end is less clear, but the tales agreed that Efrideet had long ago died her final death until she returned.
Some know the legend, but no one truly knows how the Iron Lords died their final deaths. That was something you had to be there for, to witness, to remember, to know even heroes can die, and survival is not always a victory.
In Rise of Iron, Efrideet served as the new Iron Banner representative, while Lord Saladin devoted all of his attention to the Siva crisis. She urged Guardians to see the Banner tournament as a chance to strengthen their light, for both fighting and more metaphysical purposes. The Vanguard are also intrigued by Efrideet's accounts of a non-military Guardian community in the Deep System, but Efrideet, though happy to talk about the group's pacifist philosophies, refuses to disclose the settlement's location at present. So we met this character Efrideet back in Rise of Iron. She, alongside Lord Saladin, is one of the last two remaining Iron Lords that were created long ago, back in the Dark Age. Now those two are Iron Lords, and I guess we are supposed to be as well, but it doesn't really feel like that with the Iron Banner in Destiny 2, but yeah. While the other Iron Lords like Yolder, Galeon, and so on sealed themselves in the replication chamber at Site 6 to stop the outbreak, Efrideet remained elsewhere while Lord Saladin watched in puzzlement. This is until one day after we finished the campaign, Everdeen walked straight into the temple, a surprise even to Lord Saladin.
No statue for me, I see?
The statues are for the dead. And I always hoped you were not among them.
Eferdeen then took control over the Iron Banner during the Siva incident like explained, but when Destiny 2 rolled around, she was absent as Lord Saladin again took over the role here in the tower. But back when she was the vendor, she had many interesting lines, talking about the past of the Iron Lords, and also some like this. The Iron Lords fought for peace, but maybe fighting is not the only way to achieve it. Eferdeen is a part of a secret group deep within the system where Guardians believe that peace is essential moving forward in this new age of exploration and also reclamation. Her card described it as having pacifist philosophies and that she refused to disclose the location of this said group. So she's this mighty warrior, a super powerful hunter, but she doesn't like war, she would rather have peace, something like that. When the Red Legion invaded over a year ago, Efrideet had a pretty big role in taking down some of these Cabal invaders. Now, I mentioned earlier that she threw Lord Saladin at a fallen walker to destroy it, so that in itself was pretty crazy and a display of how powerful she was, and what I'm about to read backs this up 100%. So when the Legion caged the Traveler and blocked the light from the warriors of the city, Efrideet was no different. She was now stuck here on Earth with no communication with her group deep within the system, so she decided why not join the resistance and try to stop Gaul for good, save the city, save our people, and things may turn out just fine. Here's the card. The old doubts came back when the light went out, but the iron in her bones, worn and rusted as it was, never buckled. The light was gone, but holding a sniper rifle still felt right. She marched into the city beneath a refugee's hood, took up roost in a building with the White Rabbit, and killed 216 Cabal with 199 bullets. She cried when the Traveler woke before her eyes. At her hip, a radio blinked to life. It had gone quiet when the Red Legion attacked. She answered it with trembling fingers. "I know," she said. "I can see it. I can feel it. Even the stars are brighter now," said the voice over the radio. "The whole cosmos is ablaze." She closed her eyes. I can't wait to see it. I'm coming home. Efrideet out. So Efrideet stayed to help with this Red War, and when the Traveler awoke, she decided she wanted to return to her secret group, deep within the solar system. But just think about that though, she killed 216 Cabal with only 199 bullets. Wow. So that's where Everdeen is now. Lord Saladin took over the Iron Banner as she decided to return home, wherever home may be. But within Forsaken, we get even more insight into that Fallen Walker incident, and it's pretty great, so let's give that a read. Has Saladin ever mentioned the time I threw him into a Fallen Walker? No, he wouldn't. There's no dignity in that. A Tale from the Dark Age, part 1 of 3, atop a dusty cliffside. Saladin and Efrideet stand, the wind tearing at the cloth on their armor. Dread corpses surround the two lightbearers, framed by broken weapons and bullet shells. Efrideet ejects the last spent round from her rifle. I'm out of ammo. Then leave this to me. You don't trust me? Are you going to make me ask again? In truth, I'd like to make you leave. I can handle the rest. Fine, handle it. I just came to talk. Saladin stares. He turns a fist-sized rock over and over in his hands. Efrideet continues. I heard you're trying to put an end to the fighting. They say you're recruiting people with the gift. I'm looking for someone who can do more than use a firearm, but no one shoots better than me. Saladin looks at her and doesn't answer. He turns, pointing. Far below them rests a dilapidated village to the west and a makeshift bunker to the east covered in fallen sigils. A desolate field lies in between, burnt and charred, covered in the dead. The village is called Patch Run, he says. Population 43 last week, half of that at fighting capacity. That's a collection of huts, not a village. Efrideet's voice softens, Saladin's hardens in return. It's a noble life, he pauses. I make it my duty to patrol this area. I thought crushing that fallen house every week would dissuade them. They keep returning. The two hear the roar of a fallen skiff before they see it tear across the sky. It releases a walker which drops into the field like a meteor, digging deep into the gravel in the front of the bunker. The walker begins to unfurl its legs as the skiff takes off, heading to the blooming eruptions of conflict in the distance. Efrideet grows impatient. Come on, you have any ammo? I have light. Saladin tosses the rock in his hand and opens two palms writhing with arc bolts. But it's out of range, even for me. We'll have to take the long way down. As if there's time. Below, the walker begins a march across the field. I could throw you. Saladin emits a single sharp laugh. When she says nothing, he turns to stare, realizes it's not a joke. There's no dignity in that. Is there dignity in letting those people die? Saladin doesn't respond. He looks down the mountainside. A Tale from the Dark Age, part 2 of 3, atop a dusty cliffside. Saladin looks down the mountainside at the tank, then to the village. His fists tighten at his sides as the air around him begins to crackle. If you miss... He stops speaking as Efrideet grabs him by the metallic collar, pressing him over her head. Arc energy from both lightbearers coalesces in a roaming storm around them. Saladin's crackling barely contained, Efrideet's flowing, guiding. The mountain rumbles beneath her as she steps forward. Waves of gravel and dirt blasted up behind her as she hurls the armored man off the cliffside like a javelin, their combined arc energy singing like a drawn sword. Saladin's gilded form becomes a cannon shot, tearing holes through 3 layers of clouds as he rips down toward the fallen walker. A Tale from the Dark Age, part 3 of 3, the outskirts of a town called Patch Run. Efrideet stands in a burning crater, the light of her ghost blinking rapidly as if to chortle over Saladin's corpse. Saladin suddenly sits up to a hunched over position, hands on his knees in front of him. Dust from the demolished spider tank around them rolls off his armor and into the blowing wind. Efrideet kneels, places Saladin's ghost in his hand, and knocks on his helmet with her knuckles. If you miss? When have you ever seen me miss? I suppose I haven't. I was being rhetorical. What took you so long? A few stragglers made it out alive. He sits up alarmed. Where are they now? She makes no move to acknowledge his fear. They never reached the village. Saladin sits back at that. He grasps a large rock in his hand, focuses on it. I could use someone with your drive, your moral compass. The dragon inside you is fierce. What if I've changed my mind? Will I get to throw you again? No. Then no. The rock in his hand shatters into dust as his fist spasms. "I suppose we may run out of ammo again," he concedes through gritted teeth. "Meet us out at Dwindler's Ridge." "How many of you are there?" Saladin smirks. "A few." So that was a pretty cool story. Now this was back during the Dark Age, but it gives more insight on how exactly Saladin got thrown into a fallen tank by the superhero strength of Efrideet. But anyway, Guardians, that's all I got for today's video. We most likely will see Lady Efrideet again someday, but the question is, when? Now I remember back from a previous live stream, I couldn't remember which one because I couldn't find it, it was probably around Rise of Iron, but the writing team mentioned that this secret group that Efrideet's a part of was super important, and they even hinted that we might see them someday and they may become a more integral part of the story, so who knows. But if you did enjoy, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. My name's Everdeen and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.